Come to 250. Man, I'm your ass nigga when I catch you. I ain't now one of them nigga fool who finna be backstage ducking and dodging and running and I ain't on fan paper no more fool. All you gotta do is tell your security, get out the way. I'ma tell man, get out the way. Man, I'ma sweep the floor with your fool. You a bitch, nigga.
All right, y'all, this next situation is straight chaos, so buckle up. The rap world never sleeps, and lately it feels like every week somebody's blowing up online. But this time, Finesse2Tymes took things to a whole different level. What started as a regular live stream turned into one of the wildest public meltdowns we've seen in a minute, and the target of all that heat was none other than Offset. While most artists would have kept quiet or moved carefully, Finesse2Tymes jumped headfirst into disrespect with zero hesitation. No filter, no chill, just straight shots aimed at Offset's personal life. Shots so bold they had the entire internet stopping mid-scroll like, nah, he didn't just say that. And trust me, once you hear what he said about Offset, Cardi B, and Stefon Diggs, you'll understand why this blew up instantly. It all kicked off when Finesse2Tymes hopped on Instagram Live, clearly feeling himself, maybe had a little something in his system, and started getting disrespectful about Offset's personal life. And everybody already knows Offset's been going through it ever since he allegedly found out his wife Cardi B was having a baby with NFL player Stefon Diggs. That alone is a heavy situation, no matter how you look at it. But Finesse2Tymes, he didn't just mention it, he clowned Offset for it. Bro was on live laughing, talking like, man, this NFL dude came through and snatched your whole wife up, treating Offset's pain like a comedy special. He kept doubling back to the same point, how another man supposedly came in and took what Offset thought was his. Then he dropped that line in the live sounding real reckless. Let them hoes go be with Javante Davis. Let them hoes go. After that, he started pretending he couldn't remember Stefon Diggs' name, saying, what's Buddy name? I ain't want to hit everybody. Man, what's that name? The one who hit everybody. Handsome man. He got braids.
Who is him? Man, move that man around. Where he come from? Man, go in his pocket. Who is him?
He was clearly talking about Stefon Diggs while acting like he didn't know. Cold-blooded behavior, but he didn't stop there. Finesse kept going, rubbing salt deep into the wound, talking like Offset's marriage falling apart was entertainment. You could tell this wasn't accidental disrespect. This was targeted, meant to get under Offset's skin and make the situation as messy as possible. And to really understand why this hit so hard, you gotta remember who we're dealing with. Finesse2Tymes is a Memphis street rapper with years in the trenches, raw lyrics, real street credibility, in and out of prison, and he never stops reminding people he came from the struggle. So when he decides to disrespect someone, he's not doing it halfway. On the flip side, you've got Offset, 1/3 of Migos, one of the biggest rap groups of the 2000s. Luxury lifestyle, designer everything, diamonds that could light up a whole room. The contrast between him and Finesse2Tymes, man, it couldn't be more opposite.
First of all, you know I found out about Cardi and Stefon. I was the first person to find out about Cardi and Stefon Diggs. If Cardi was a, and me and her talk about this way before Stefon Diggs, she said, you know, if I ever cheated or even thought about cheating on Offset, I would either get extorted or everybody would know. Like, what dude you think is gonna be with me? Pause. And keep it quiet. It wouldn't happen. Niggas would be going live with it automatically.
Finesse2Tymes is that raw, unfiltered Memphis energy. Street stories, gritty delivery, real trenches. Offset came up in the Atlanta trap wave, chart-topping hits, mainstream fame, private jets, red carpets, two different worlds, two different come-ups. But now Offset's personal life was unraveling, and Finesse2Tymes saw a moment to call out what he viewed as a weakness. Offset wasn't having any of it. Once he saw the clips of Finesse clowning him, he jumped in the comments telling Finesse2Tymes to keep his name out his mouth. But Offset didn't stop there. Nah, he took it to his IG story and made serious threats about sliding on Finesse. Offset was talking heavy, saying things that in the streets only mean one thing. He said something along the lines of, when we spank, you don't call the police.
And I believe it with that, so I really don't think Cardi B's a. However, I do believe that optically, you being pregnant and you possibly dealing with another guy and then him getting you pregnant a couple months after you dropped the first baby off for another guy who was your husband and now you're going through a divorce, it looks terrible. And because it looks terrible like that, I think Offset is just embarrassed because they keep linking Cardi's behavior to him.
And for anybody who doesn't know, in street language, spank means shoot. So Offset was basically saying, if we pull up on you, don't call no cops afterward. That's real pressure, and it showed just how deep the situation cut. What makes this even crazier is the timing. Offset had been quiet, real quiet, about everything involving Cardi B and Stefon Diggs, trying to move private, stay off the blogs. But Finesse2Tymes dragging it into the spotlight and laughing about it, that clearly hit a nerve. Offset felt like his manhood was being challenged, and in hip-hop culture, that's something you can't just ignore. Then Finesse saw the threats, and that's when things took a hard left turn. Finesse2Tymes hopped back on Instagram Live and crashed out completely. No breaks, no filter, nothing. He was heated, talking reckless, and you could tell he wasn't thinking twice. He started off saying he'd been trying to stay focused on business and peace lately. I've been on straight music time, I've been pushing money and peace, I've been on some get money type stuff. That's how he explained it. But Offset's threats, and that's what pushed him over the edge. Finesse2Tymes felt like Offset had the whole situation twisted. On Live, he was basically saying, why you mad at me? I'm not the one you should be pressed about.
It's like when all these niggas keep saying that I wifed up Selena Powell, and every next man's keeps saying they splashed in her, they nutted in her face, they whatever. They keep acting like they my bitch. Bruh, that's my only problem. I'm glad anybody Selena. Congratulations, it's a rite of passage.
He kept repeating it, clowning Offset hard. Bro, don't at me. Don't get mad at me. Get mad at the football playing dude. That's who you need to be mad at, my boy, not me. What's wrong with you, fool? Get mad at the dude sticking that football in that hole. Finesse kept hammering that point over and over. Stefon Diggs was the one who allegedly got involved with Cardi B, not him. He shouted, get mad at the dude sticking that football up. That man, you know what I'm talking about. Get up off me, my boy. This ain't that, my boy. And he didn't stop there. That's when Finesse2Tymes started taking things to a whole different level, calling Offset feminine, emotional, and acting out of character. He brought up Offset's lawsuit against his baby mama, using it as proof that Offset wasn't built for the streets the way he claimed. Finesse said on Live, you out here suing your baby mama for $70 million, and I'm out here begging my baby mama to let me see my kids. To him, that showed backwards priorities. Then he doubled down. You feminine as hell, man. Feminine ass dude. You out here suing, come on, man. He was questioning Offset's masculinity, making it sound like Offset wasn't handling his issues like a man.
Every new rapper, you should make XXL and Selena Powell. Every new rapper. When they try to say, oh, we that bitch who acts like ex, even if they call her ex-girl, it bothers me. You know why?
Finesse went all in saying, you a real hoe for that. You feminine as hell. You out here suing people instead of handling your business like a man. After tearing into Offset's character, Finesse2Tymes escalated into real threats of his own. He told Offset, when I catch you, you're gonna have to live with that or die with it. Then he talked about slapping Offset's dreads out his head and beating him down the moment he saw him. He said, I ain't never been one of them dudes who gonna be backstage ducking and dodging. All you gotta do is tell your security to get out the way. I'm gonna tell my people to get out the way, and I'm gonna sweep the floor with your ass. The threats got more personal, more direct, and a whole lot more dangerous. Finesse2Tymes kept pushing, trying to completely emasculate Offset with every word. He said, I'll slap all your dreads out your head. You a bitch, you talking about? He was going all in on attacking Offset's masculinity, calling him feminine, weak, and saying Offset had never been in any real street situations. According to Finesse, Offset was all talk. You ain't catching no real wreck, man. Y'all don't know nothing about that life.
I don't want to be the one fucking fool claiming the biggest that fucked everybody. And Cardi B, I love you. And if you see this, you know I'm never dissing you. You know I love you. But I'm explaining how men see shit, right? Your Fruit Jams in the chat. What up?
He was straight up questioning Offset's street credibility, saying those little charges Offset caught were nothing compared to real street pressure. Then the threats got even crazier. Finesse2Tymes said he'd catch Offset anywhere, even at Disney World. I go to Disney World too. I'll beat your ass at Disney World, boy. I catch your ass at Disney World, fire your ass up at Disney World. Wherever I catch you, it's gonna be problems. The Disney World part was insane because it showed he wasn't joking. He was making it clear he'd bring violence to the most family-friendly place imaginable. Total unhinged energy. But then it took another turn. Finesse2Tymes suddenly switched to talking money and demanded Offset pay him to end the beef. He said, "So you gonna have to wire me $1 million and I ain't playing. You better call QC or somebody because your ass gonna need help paying me to get off your back." He repeated it multiple times. "To squash this, you gonna have to wire me $1 million. I ain't playing with your ass." Then he circled right back to Stefon Diggs again, telling Offset he was mad at the wrong person. "You need to be trying to spin on the football field, not on me. Spin on the stadium. That's who got your wife, not me." This was probably the most disrespectful part of the entire meltdown. Finesse2Tymes was basically telling Offset, focus your anger on the dude who actually took your wife and got her pregnant, not me. And he didn't stop there. Finesse also brought up how Offset didn't seem to have the same type of energy for other rappers who dissed him or tried to shoot their shot at Cardi B. Finesse2Tymes kept applying pressure, calling out what he saw as Offset's selective outrage. He said, "You ain't say nothing when Po Shotty shot his shot at your hoe. You ain't say nothing when Fredo Bang shot his shot at your hoe. You don't say nothing to them, but you feel like you can say something to me." He was basically saying Offset picks and chooses who he wants smoke with, going at Finesse instead of the ones who were actually trying to get at Cardi B. Then Finesse took things to another level, talking about how Stefon Diggs is the one really winning. He claimed Stefon paid Offset's $70 million settlement. "That football player paid your debt. He told Cardi B, 'Here, give this crybaby this money so he can get out our business.'" Finesse painted a picture of Stefon Diggs essentially wiring the money just to clear Offset out of the way so he and Cardi B could move peacefully. He repeated it again. "The football player paid your debt. Hey, Cardi B, I'ma wire you this $70 million for this crybaby. Get this guy out our business." Then he went right back to attacking Offset's masculinity, questioning how any street dude could act like he does. What gangster owns another man's son? He was referring to Offset publicly claiming the baby as his because he's still legally married to Cardi B. Finesse said, "That's Stefon Diggs' son, not yours. That man put in the work for that baby, not you. That's his son. That ain't your son. You out here talking about that's your son. That ain't your wife no more. That man took your wife." He kept driving that point home relentlessly. According to Finesse2Tymes, Offset is trying to hold on to something that's no longer his. The whole situation highlights how Offset's personal life has basically turned into public entertainment. Here's a guy who used to be part of one of the biggest rap groups of the 2000s, and now he's being clowned by other rappers about his wife supposedly leaving him for an NFL player. That's a brutal downfall in the public eye. And the hardest part for Offset? Everything is happening publicly. Most people can handle relationship problems quietly away from the world, but when you're a celebrity, every document, every rumor, every development between Cardi B and Stefon Diggs gets blasted everywhere. The court filings, the pregnancy rumors, the breakup, none of it stays private, and Finesse2Tymes wasn't finished either. He kept stressing, "I just said something about the situation. I didn't take your wife. I didn't get her pregnant." He wanted Offset and everybody listening to know he wasn't the villain here. He was just talking. Finesse2Tymes kept repeating that none of this was his doing. "That was all Stefon Diggs. All I said was the football was sticking in a hole." Then he doubled back again. "You ain't say nothing when Pooh Shetty shot his shot at your hoe. You don't say nothing to him, but you feel like you can say something to me." Finesse was trying to make his position crystal clear. He didn't do anything to Offset. He just commented on a situation that was already public. But the way he said it definitely meant to provoke. This whole beef really shows how personal issues can spill into the rap world fast. Offset is clearly going through it emotionally, his marriage collapsing, the possibility of another man raising a child that might legally be considered his public image getting torn apart. That's enough to break anyone down mentally. But Finesse2Tymes wasn't offering a shred of sympathy. He kept pressing Offset, calling him soft and clowning him over everything he could think of. At one point, he even mocked Offset's strength. "You can't even lift 40 pounds. Your security can't even lift 40 pounds. You a bitch?" Then he brought up their criminal histories, trying to stack his street resume over Offset's. He said, "You go to jail for carrying guns. I go to jail for discharging them." That was meant to sting, because it played into the narrative that Offset has an image of a street rapper, while Finesse sees himself as the real deal, someone who's been locked up for serious charges, not minor ones. This comparison cut deep because it bottled everything Finesse had been saying. Offset talks the talk, but Finesse walks it. The whole situation is insane because it shows how fast social media can turn a joke into a full-blown war. What started as Finesse clowning on IG Live escalated into threats, insults, and both men talking about real violence, and Finesse2Tymes made it clear he's not shaking from Offset's threats. "I just got out of jail, homie. You want to spin on me? Spin on the football player instead." He kept hammering the idea that Offset was mad at the wrong person and trying to intimidate the right one. Then he aired out something else. Offset blocking him everywhere after talking tough. Finesse said, "How you gonna talk crazy about me and then block me? I can't even see what you're saying. I gotta go to the blogs to see what you said. You blocked me from Sue's page. You blocked me from Clever's page. You blocked the whole family page. You blocked Lil Jew, No Love Mama P. You blocked everybody." Then he sealed it with, "You a real whole-ass boy." Finesse was calling Offset out for hiding behind blocks instead of addressing the situation like a man. Finesse2Tymes used Offset's blocking spree as proof that Offset couldn't handle pressure. In street culture, blocking someone after talking tough is seen as pure weakness, and Finesse played into that narrative hard, framing Offset as someone who can dish it but can't take it. What's really interesting about this whole beef is how it exposes the two different worlds these rappers come from and how they handle conflict. Offset, coming from the commercial mainstream side of rap, tries to deal with situations through legal channels, controlled statements, and Instagram posts. Finesse2Tymes, on the other hand, represents that raw, rugged Memphis street rap. To him, conflict is something you address physically, immediately, and without hesitation. But this beef goes deeper than just rap styles. Offset's situation with Cardi B and Stefon touches on sensitive topics in the Black community: masculinity, loyalty, public humiliation, and how a man is viewed when he loses his wife to another man, and the fact that Cardi B supposedly got pregnant by Stefon while still married to Offset. That's the kind of situation that can destroy a man's reputation in certain circles. Finesse2Tymes took all of that pain and used it as fuel. He wasn't just beefing with Offset, he was turning Offset into an example, showing what happens in his eyes when you let another man take what's yours. Then he went after Offset's spending habits, clowning him for focusing on material things instead of real-life problems. Finesse said, "You ain't gonna do nothing but go buy a Chrome Hearts belt for $79,000. You might as well let your baby mama keep it. You ain't gonna do nothing." Another shot at Offset's priorities, suggesting he's more worried about drip than dealing with the issues tearing his life apart. And honestly, that's a criticism that's been thrown at mainstream rappers forever. All flash, no substance. This whole feud is messy, and the crazy part is neither one of them seems to be backing down. Offset is going through one of the most humiliating scenarios a man can face, his wife allegedly leaving him for another man and having that man's baby. Meanwhile, Finesse2Tymes is flipping that pain into content. Offset's fall from grace is happening live in real time, from being part of one of the biggest rap groups of the 2010s to having his personal life become a punchline. It's a brutal reminder of how fast everything can change in the entertainment world. His entire image as a successful rapper is being overshadowed by chaos he can't seem to escape. What makes this whole situation even more explosive is the street politics behind it. Finesse2Tymes has his Memphis affiliations, and Offset has his Atlanta ties. When two artists with connections like that start throwing shots, it's never just between them. One wrong move and this beef could easily pull in people from both sides. And the timing couldn't be more dangerous. Offset is dealing with divorce drama, custody battles, and heavy public embarrassment. Finesse too. Tymes saw that vulnerability and used it to his advantage, turning Offset's pain into ammunition. Now the real question is, y'all think this is gonna escalate, or will cooler heads finally step in? Let me know in the comments, because this story is far from finished and both men look ready for whatever comes next. Beef like this rarely stays online, and with the threats flying around, things could get real dangerous real fast. If you enjoyed the breakdown, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And don't go anywhere. Click the next video popping up on your screen for even more wild celebrity drama. I'll see you in the next one.